Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the corporate world, one filing at a time. And today we've got Dow Inc. and the Dow Chemical Company. Buckle up because we are going to uncover how this giant chemical company made money and lost some this last quarter, in a way even your non-finance friends will understand. First things first, a quick heads up, there's always some legal language called forward-looking statements. Basically, it's Dow saying, hey, we're making predictions, but things might change. They're not guaranteeing anything. Lots of things can affect how well they do, from how well their products sell to unexpected lawsuits and even global events. Let's dive into the numbers. Dow's net sales were about $10.4 billion. That sounds like a lot, but it's actually a little bit down from last year, about 3% down. Think of it like this. If Dow sold $100 worth of chemicals last year, they only sold $19 worth of chemicals last year. They only sold 97 2025. Now, expenses, think of it as what it costs to run the business. They are selling general and administrative expenses, or SG&A, which were $66 million. That's lower than last year when they spent $442 million. This means they cut back on some of those day-to-day operational costs. This drop is mainly because they spent less on employee compensation and also experienced reduced bad debt expense because of favorable resolution of some dispute with a customer. Then there is interest expense, which is what it costs to borrow money. Dow's interest expense was $216 million, a little higher than last year's $199 million, so it's costing them more to borrow. Here's the big one, net income or profit. Dow had a net loss of $290 million. A loss, it basically means they spent more than they earned. This is down big time because last year they had a profit of $538 million. It's like going from winning to losing a lot very quickly. If you break that down by each share of stock, the loss was 44 cents per share. Last year they made 73 cents per share, but this year lost 44 cents per share. A more detailed look at how they were doing is depreciation. Dow had depreciation of $512 million, which is a non-cash expense, so is really not that scary. Capital expenditures or big investments in equipment and facilities are also good. The capital expenditures were $685 million less than last year when it was $71.14 million. Let's see where the cash is. Cash from operations was $104 million, way down from the $460 million last cash, which is a concern. But what about the shareholders? Dividends per share remained at $0.70. Did not change it. Let's check on their balance sheet, which shows assets, liabilities, and equity. Their cash went down from $2 billion to $1.5 billion. They were able to keep the debt relatively stable at $15.9 billion times $17 billion. Total equity, which is everything they own, went from $17.2 billion to $17.2 billion. Now, what contributed to this not so great period? Let's scroll down to find more about the cost. The company had restructuring and asset-related charges of $208 million. The actions were mostly complete for most. To combat these losses and keep the ball rolling, the company has been borrowing money in form of short and long-term debt for billions of dollars. The company also took out some short-term notes that needed to be paid back later. The company used the money to acquire even more machinery and equipment. There was a court case where another company had to end up paying them $1 billion US dollars. Let's jump to the section about lease obligations. The company has billions in operating lease, right of use assets, and lease liabilities. This is normal as they have facilities and equipment all over the world. Next up are some regulatory changes. The first one includes something about enhanced transparency with income tax disclosures. Check their sales by region and segment. Packaging and specialty plastics did $5.3 billion in sales, were done in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and India, referred to as EMEI. They have facilities so people can pay them earlier in order to get a small discount. Basically a financing arrangement. There were no big changes in their debt situation, so that's a good sign. There are big red flags. Asbestos claims, remember those? They're still around. Union Carbide has been dealing with these for decades. At the end of March, claims were $767 million. Alright, so there's a big decision that the company took after this quarter ended on April 24, which is very interesting. They are delaying a big environmental project in Canada. The reason is that market conditions are not great. This is a setback for their green initiatives. Secondly, in addition to this, they will be cutting costs in Europe. This means potential closures of plants in Germany and the UK. Europe has become a less attractive place for Dow due to regulations and demand issues. There are also new climate-related disclosure rules from the SEC. Dow may have to reveal more about their environmental impact, but there is a stay in court and there is uncertainty as to what will happen here. So, putting it all together now for a quick recap, some positives about them, but a lot of negatives to unpack. Sales are down and the net income is a loss. The company is paying shareholders but not growing the money. So where does that leave us, and where does it leave Dow? Dow's facing some serious headwinds, basically meaning that there is some resistance. The business is not doing fantastic. They tried to put on a good face, but by reducing their capital expenditures, they are admitting they will have less money coming in. In addition, that massive green project is being put on ice, with their European operations being reviewed. A real opportunity for them is that legal win that may come in $1 billion. Hopefully they find better investments than what they have going on currently. In the end, there really is no choice but to try and weather the storm and make the changes to keep the company in top shape so they can return to glory, hopefully. That's it for today's dive into Dow. If you found this helpful, please do leave a like, a comment, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next thrilling episode of Corporate Decoder. Thanks for watching.